Hi guys, this is Imran. In this video I will cover overriding part of object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming has several kinds. One is polymorphism. Polymorphism has two kinds, overloading and overriding. So in this video I will cover overriding part. To do that I need to have at least 3 classes. So let's get started. This is Eclipse. So now I will create one project, Java project. So I will click here. I will give a name. I will click on finish. So I have created a Java project. If I expand, I can see the source folder. So to demonstrate overriding, to demonstrate overriding, I need to have at least 3 different classes. So I will create those 3 different classes. I will right click on source folder, I will put cursor on a new, then I will click on class. This pop-up window opens up. I will write main and I will click here so that Eclipse will create the main method for me inside of the main class. I will click finish button. So Eclipse created this class for me with the main method. So this is the main method inside of the main class, and main method is empty. Now I will create another class. So I will click on default package, then I will put cursor on new, then I will put cursor on class, and then I will click. This pop-up window opens up. I will give it a name and I will click on finish. So I have created another class called bird, and this bird is empty. So I will create a method inside of this bird so that this bird class will have one property. So I will create one return type method. I'm writing the method. So I have created one return type method. This is the return type method. It will return the result after adding these 2 input arguments. So this method will accept 2 integer input arguments, and this method will add those 2 numbers and return it. So this is a return type method that this bird class has. Now I will create another class. Right click on it. I will click on class. This pop-up window opens up. I will say cat and I will click on finish button, as you can see in the video. So now I can see another new class has been created and it is empty. So I want to extend properties from bird class to cat class. Right now cat class is empty and I want to extend the property bird has. Because bird class has one property, this one. This is the property that this bird class has, and cat class is empty. Now I need to get bird class's property to cat class. I need to use these two words, extend. This extends bird. So now cat class will have bird class's property as well. And now let's go back to this class. So this is the cat class. Cat class has empty on its own, and it extends one class from one property from bird class. Now I will let me tell, this is the superclass, this is the superclass, and this is the subclass. Now I want to have this, I want to override this return type method. So I will copy entire thing. I will go to cat class. I will paste entire thing. I will write a comment saying this is overwrite. Override method. What that means, this one will be overwritten, and I want here instead of plus, I want it will be multiplied. So this method, this is another return type method that accepts two integer arguments or parameters and multiply those and return the result. And the formula is, if there are multiple classes, one would be superclass, another would be subclass. If there are multiple classes, then subclass method, and both class has the same method with the same name and same input arguments, then subclass's property will be executed. I am telling again, this is superclass, bird is superclass, and bird has this method. This method has a name called getResult, and this method takes two input arguments, int a and int b. Let me go back to cat class. Cat class has its own method. Cat is the subclass. Subclass has its own method. This method also has the same name, getResult, and this method accepts two input arguments, int a and int b. So this part is same in both classes. I copy. I'm opening Notepad. This part, I copied the name and the input arguments from the cat class from the subclass. The cat class is the subclass. Now I go back to bird class and I copy the name and the input arguments or input parameters or input signatures. Different people call different way, same thing. So I can see in both classes, bird class and superclass, the subclass, bird class and the cat class, the subclass and the superclass, in both classes, method name is same. Input argument also same. Only difference is the inside code. It multiplies, subclass multiplies, where superclass add those two numbers. So if this is the situation is that if there are two classes, one is sub, another one is super, and if there are two methods has the same name, same input arguments in both classes, then the subclasses method will be executed. So in this scenario, subclass method multiplies, so it will be multiplied. So this method will be executed, and superclasses method will not be executed. That is the formula. That is the rules of overriding polymorphism. So let me create object in the main class under main method. Okay, so I have created one object. Using the cat data type and cat constructor. Now I will be using that method. So now I am using this method. This method exists in both classes, in bird class, in subclass, in the bird class and the cat class, in the subclass and in the superclass. In both classes, and this method exists. So I am using these methods. This part will execute that method, get the result, store that result into this variable, and I will display that variable using print statement. Okay, now I have given two input arguments, 2 and 5. If bird classes method gets executed, what happens? What would be the result? Let me go to the bird class. Bird class will add those two numbers and return it. So if the bird class method, if the method written inside of the bird class inside of the bird class, inside of the superclass. Bird class is superclass. So if the method is written inside of the bird class, then it will add. So if it adds, the result would be 7. 2 and 5, after adding these two numbers, result would be 7. So it should return, or it should print here 7. If the bird classes method gets executed, or super classes method executes. If not, then cat classes method will be executed. cat class will multiply those two numbers. Cat class is the subclass. So if it multiplies, then it will be 5 times 2, 10. So the result would be 10, not 7. And the formula is, if based on the overriding formula, based on the overridden rules, if there are multiple classes and one class is superclass, one class is subclass, and in both classes has the same method with the same method name and same input parameters or arguments or signatures, in that scenario whatever method subclass has will be executed. So right now subclass has this method, and this method multiplies those two numbers, so the result should display 10, not 7. Let's see. Let me run it. Yes, it is displaying 10. So it is not displaying 7. That means even though both class has the same method with the same name and same input arguments, but whatever method is written inside of the subclass gets executed, has the first priority to be executed. And that is the overridden part of polymorphism of object-oriented programming in Java. Thank you guys. Bye.